What's going on, everyone? So I just got to work, but I wanted to start this series, and if I don't start it, I know I'm not going to, so I'm just starting it here in my car at work. So this is The Book of the Bee by E.A. Wallace Budge, and I'm not going to read the preface or any of that stuff, but The Book of the Bee is a Syriac text. And this is the edited manuscript from London, Oxford, and Munich, with an English translation by Ernest A. Wallace Budge. Basically, it just says that the Book of the Bee is an Nestorian Christian sacred history. According to Budge, it was written A.D. 1222 by a Syrian bishop named Solomon. So, let's just skip ahead to the first chapter, which there are 60 chapters total, I believe. And then once again, this is the book. This is a little picture right here. This is, that picture is Heaven by Gustave Doré. So, remember in this book, there's like detailed intricacies about each and every topic that has gone on through the Bible, even some into the Antichrist and the Muslim takeover at the end of time, at the end of this book. So we're going to read all the chapters one by one. So this is chapter 1 of God's eternal intention, respect of the creation of the universe. It is well for us to take the materials for our discourse from the divine scriptures, that we may not stray from the straight paths of the way of the truth. The blessed David saith, Lord, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations before the mountains were conceived. David, the harpist of the Spirit, makes known thereby that although there was a beginning of the framing of Adam and the other creatures when they were made, yet in the mind of God it had no beginning, that it might not be thought that God has a new thought in respect of anything that is renewed day by day, or that the construction of creation was newly planned in the mind of God. But everything that he created and is about to create, even the marvelous construction of the world to come, has been planned from everlasting in the immutable mind of God. As the natural child in the womb of his mother knows not her who bears him, nor is conscious of his father, who, after God, is the cause of his formation, so also Adam, being in the mind of the Creator, knew him not. And when he was created and recognized himself as being created, he remained with this knowledge 6 hours only. And there came after him a change, from knowledge to ignorance and from good to evil. Hence, when divine providence wished to create the world, the framing of Adam was first designed and conceived in the mind of God, and then that of the other creatures, as David saith, before the mountains were conceived. Consequently, Adam is older than the other creatures in respect of his conception, and the other creatures are older than Adam in respect of their birth and their being made. And whereas God created all creatures in silence and by the word, which is Jesus, he brought forth Adam out of his thoughts, and formed him with his holy hands, and breathed the breath of life into him from his spirit. And Adam became a living soul, and God gave him the knowledge of the difference between good and evil. When he perceived his Creator, then was God formed and conceived within the mind of man. And man became a temple to God his Maker, and it is written, Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? And again, I will dwell in them and walk in them. So, and it tells you below that if you want to get this book, it tells you below that where that was pulled from in historical documents. Chapter 2 is super short, but I'm going to do that in a separate video. I just wanted to comment briefly that this part in chapter 1 where it says, and he brought forth Adam out of his thoughts and formed him with his holy hands. Okay, so it says God created all things and created in silence, and by a word he brought forth Adam out of his thoughts. So it's by a word he brought forth Adam and formed him with his hands. Now in the Gospel of Nicodemus, when Jesus is in the underworld saving the saints and broke the gates of brass, and all the demons are screaming because they can't stop him from breaking open those gates. And that's what Revelation 1:18 is, where he has the keys of hell and death because he conquered them there after he died on the cross for our sins. In that, Adam says, look at the hands that formed me. So here we have it saying that the Word formed him, who was God, and the hands were the hands of Jesus. And that's what Adam says when he is saved by Jesus. And in my opinion, that's the first resurrection, because the first resurrection was back then, and there will be a second one again, because those are the dead that rose and were on the earth for 40 days while Jesus was preaching on the earth after he rose from the dead with a bunch of people: Jacob, Isaac, Abraham, Job, who was like from 3,300 years before that time. All these people are walking around, and all the Jews and the Pharisees and Annas and Caiaphas, they all see him walking around and stuff like that, and they're like, nobody's going to ever let this down. We have to bribe people to get this hidden. And it's remained that way until this day, now in the end time. So just want to share that. We're going to go on to chapter 2. God bless, and hope you have a great day.